Patrick Maloney with the London Free Press and lfpress.com, and beside me is my distinguished colleague Chip Martin. Fresh off the two of us covering what was a very intense, and very long and very late City Council meeting, during which Councillor Nancy Branscombe attempted for naught to table a motion asking the Mayor to step aside amid the RCMP probe. Her efforts were thwarted when 8 members of Council voted together to stop even discussing the issue. So here's Branscombe's reaction to that.
I think the heat's up and this is going to drag on and get worse and worse, and the classy thing to do would have been to step aside and remove himself as a lightning rod and let us get on with our work. That's not a choice he made. Nobody can force him to do it, so we'll have to live with this decision.
Chip, Nancy obviously frustrated. I think a lot of Londoners are frustrated. What do you think?
Well, I found it interesting that among the 8 voting to not even consider this was the Mayor, which raises the issue about, was there a vested interest there? But, you know, the whole thing is that it wasn't debated on. The merits of it was not debated, or the merits were not debated. And because of that, this issue could be raised again, and Nancy Branscombe said she would be raising it again. Right.
The way, stop me if I'm describing this wrong. The motion wasn't killed. The motion was never even born.
That's right. It never even got on the table.
What they rejected was even having the discussion about Nancy's motion.
That's right.
Which is, I find to be, you know, a lot disconcerting actually, because Mike, I'm finding that we're being inundated with emails here. We're being inundated with comments on our website. The councillors say they're being inundated with concerns and complaints from Londoners, and you're looking to leadership from City Council. It is my personal opinion that there is a wave of public frustration that is building, and it is going to crash into 300 Dufferin pretty soon if somebody doesn't do something. And I'm looking for somebody to do something, and who's there to do it? Paul Van Meerbergen says, oh, I don't want to talk about it. Joe Swan says, let's give him a month. Dale Henderson says, no comment. The only person, in my estimation, who showed any leadership at all is Sandy White, who is an ally of Fontana's, went on the Steve Garrison show last week, and she said, the good ship Fontana is off course. We need to do something here before it's too late. And it's very easy now for other council members to come in and shoot the wounded. White is the one who broke the dam. Now, to Nancy's credit, and I guess I would say Paul Hubert too, Nancy's very, very smart, and she thinks through things before she does them. It is her point that she felt she could not speak up last week because it would look like political opportunism, because she's a rival of Fontana's. But when Sandy spoke up, that allowed the perceived rivals to then follow suit. So I give White a lot of credit. I give her a ton of credit, and people mock her, people rip her. We knock her around in our newspaper, but in this case, I'm looking for your feedback on this. I think she's the only councillor I would say has really shown the brass that Londoners are demanding.
Well, she's one of the few that isn't dug in and intransigent like a number of them are there. The interesting thing, going back to that vote though, Pat, because the merits of it never got to the table for a vote, it can be brought back. And Nancy, who's made it clear she's not running for mayor, she's done after this term, is not a rival, and points out that she's really not a rival to Fontana. She just wants him to.
She's a perceived rival of Fontana's.
Okay, if you want that.
Yeah, she is.
Mr. Pushy. By the way, what's this?
My poppy?
Yes.
No comment.
Oh, come on. What's it represent? There's been a little controversy this week about what it represents.
It's for the veterans.
It's for the veterans.
That's right. November 11th, lest we remember.
And I'm not wearing one, so apparently I don't believe in due process. Anyway,
let's get back to Nancy.
Back to Nancy. Okay, the interesting thing about this is that it can be brought forward again, because if an issue's been decided by a council, it can't be brought back in the same term of council. This was never even decided, or the merits of the issue not decided. Therefore, the circumstances change, and perhaps more people decide, like Sandy White, that maybe they shouldn't be so dug in, and if in fact circumstances change with respect to the mayor, the matter could be brought back. So that's the good thing that came out of last night. There is still an opportunity to deal with this and almost on a daily basis, the situation with respect to the mayor, what he's saying or not saying is changing. So that may be a good that came out of this.
Do you agree generally that council is not sufficiently responding to what is the clear frustration of many, 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 many Londoners? Or do you disagree with that?
Well, I don't know how certain members of council can say they're not hearing anything from anyone of concern about the mayor and the investigation, because I don't know if certain wards are, you know, where they lie in the spectrum, or where the people are, or are people being willfully blind who are on council. Quite frankly, it's the talk of the town, water cooler talk, talk show talk. It's in the papers on a daily basis.
We're 2 weeks into it almost now.
We're 2 weeks, yeah. It's going to be very soon, 2 weeks, and I don't know. I mean, some members of council are absolutely, getting all sorts of comments. We are getting to the Free LF Press Online, not comments there, but we're getting spoken to. We are getting all sorts of, the polls are showing a lot of dissatisfaction with respect to the mayor. It seems to have captured the city, and so I'm bewildered when a councillor Orser says, no, more people were interested in fluoride and backyard chickens than are involved in this thing. So,
well, I will go back 2 years ago when we were heading into the 2010 election. A collective 100 years of council experience decided to not seek re-election, and Gord Hume pointed that out and said, who I thought was a very astute councillor and a very smart guy. He said, there's going to be a leadership vacuum. Someone's got to fill that leadership vacuum. Here we are. Crisis does not build character, it reveals it, or it reveals the lack thereof. I would submit to you that I think a lot of people are disappointed, Nancy Branscomb's efforts last night notwithstanding, with the overall response of council to this so far.
Well, basically, it's the 8-7 council with a flip-flop. Sandy White and Harold Usher flipped sides with respect to this vote last night. But it's still it's a badly divided and fractious council. It's right down the middle with one vote on the side of the mayor. I don't think much has changed. People are just dug in, don't seem to be willing to change, with the exception of Sandy White and Harold Usher.
I wonder, though, if Usher doesn't change, and Beckler, who was absent due to a prior commitment, is there,
and Fontana doesn't vote.
No, even if he does, it's 8-7, and it opens the door. Mm-hmm. So Usher's decision to join what is perceived to be the Fontana 8, and he's not perceived to be a traditional member of that, was very, very crucial. If you imagine that Beckler had been there, which he normally would have been, mm-hmm. You got 8-7 to get it on the floor.
Unfortunately, I think, given the state of council right now, had it even got to the floor and voted on, we would have seen the same result, and then the issue could not be raised again at all. So, the handwriting was on the wall that this whole notion was going down.
So where do we go down? I mean, where is this thing going next? I mean, you broke the story. You're now 2 weeks in on it. Where is this heading politically for council? Are they totally adrift? I mean,
it's something. It's changing on a daily basis. My crystal ball is as good as yours, Patrick. I don't know what's next, where it's going to go. I find it very interesting that the national media has picked up on this. It's been in the House of Commons. The Veterans Affairs Minister called Fontana's remarks with respect to the poppy, the original remarks. He said he found them reprehensible, and that he was hiding behind the poppy. Who would have thunk that? Where this is going, I do not know. We are seeing certain organizations in the city are asking the mayor to reconsider attendance at their events. That's troubling. What's happening with the leadership in the city? It's troubling. We're going to have to see how this unfolds. Where it's going, who knows? What the end result is, who knows?
You have covered city council in London in the 80s? 70s, 80s, 90s, and again...
The 00s.
Whatever this is.
The 00s and the teens now.
The 00s?
Yeah, 70s, 80s, 90s, 00s, and the teens.
Okay, well, now we're in the uh-ohs.
No, we're in the teens.
Have you ever seen...
Well, uh-ohs, yeah, that's good.
Have you ever seen a situation like this in your time covering the city council?
No, I have not. some people have described this as the worst council ever. This is very dysfunctional council, nasty, insulting, people telling each other to shut up. There's been sidebars of tweeting and that's this sort of stuff going on that's unpleasant. People are dug in. A lot of these people really don't like each other. There's a lot of stress, tension in the air. It's palpable. Quite frankly, I don't know why some of these people remain on council, because I couldn't take that stress.
Well, I think that the press is often criticized for torquing or over-exaggerating political conflicts. Our headline today, Council descends into bedlam. If anything, I think underplayed the scene we saw last night. I think that this is a very troubling situation.
Yeah, I think anyone that's is interested or wants to see, come down to council, come down and see it firsthand, or tune in on television. I mean, it's not a pretty picture.
And the next council meeting is 3 weeks away, and there's no reason why a motion like Branscome's from last night couldn't come up again.
That's right.
And it's another 3 weeks, and
we're only not even 2 weeks into this situation now, since we learned.
And then it'll be 5 weeks since you broke the story.
Then it'll be 5 weeks. Who knows? It's there's a lot of water to go underneath the dam, or through the dam, between now and then. Who knows? Stay tuned, as they say.
I guess so. Well, thank you for joining us at lfpress.com, and we will see you next time.